Welcome to MLGW's Power Pivot Small Business Webinar. I'm Gale Jones Carson, the Vice President of Community and External Affairs. I'm sorry that we're getting started a little late, but technology is awesome when it works, and when it's not working, it's not awesome. Matter of fact, it works my last nerve. But anyway, we're moving on. In recognition of National Financial Literacy Month, this month's webinar is entitled Advice Your Small Business Can Bank On. In 2004, the U.S. Senate established April as the National Financial Literacy Month. The focus is usually on individual financial wellness, but financial literacy for small business entrepreneurs is also important, primarily because they are the backbone of the American economy. There's a great need for small businesses to be successful. When they are not, more than the business is at risk. According to a recent study, 40% of small businesses identify as financially illiterate. They have a talent for identifying new ideas and nurturing them into businesses, but they don't spend time focusing on the business's financial wellness or educating themselves on becoming more financially astute. During the pandemic, many small business owners found themselves not knowing what to do or where to turn when it came to weathering the storm. But some of them relied on business experts, like our panelists today, to assist them and share resources and advise them on how to pivot during this pandemic. Today on Power Pivot, our guests are Lynn Whitney, who is the principal of Lynn Whitney Consulting Firm, LLC, Megan Mottley, who is the owner of Goodness Gracious Cookies, Inc., and Trudy Morrison, a financial well-being program manager for Operation Hope, Inc. Lynn is a Memphis native who believes in positively impacting our community by educating and elevating individuals on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. A banking industry veteran, she is the principal of Lynn Whitney Consulting Firm, which aids small businesses. Megan is a Memphis native. Also, she started Goodness Gracious Cookies, as a fundraiser in 2016 to help her daughter go on to a mission trip to Japan. I would have liked to go on that mission trip. She offers fresh baked cookies, frozen cookie dough, and gourmet cookie mixes in an array of flavors with nationwide shipping. Trudy is a financial well-being program manager with Operation Hope, Inc., and has more than 30 years of experience in finance. She holds a bachelor's of science degree from Southern University in Baton Rouge, and she is a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, the Memphis chapter. So Trudy, since you're gonna have to depart early, we're gonna start with you. So could you tell us some of the things that you work with small businesses on? How do you guide them? How do you direct them? And basically, when they come to you, what are they looking for?
Actually, Gail, Operation Hope, let me just give you just a little bit about Operation Hope. For those that do not know or familiar about Operation Hope, actually it's been around for 29 years and we have offices located all over the United States. And it is a financial literacy organization. But some of the services that we offer at Operation Hope are credit and money management workshops, as well as personal one-on-one counseling. Then we have small business education, as well as I teach an 8-week cohort. And that cohort class gives them the foundation to help have a solid business plan once they graduate from the 8-week cohort. Within that program, Gail, I bring in some of the best experts that I know within the city of Memphis to help me facilitate this program. And let me just share briefly, if that's okay with you, some of the subjects that we do cover, because this class is so awesome. And I don't know if people realize, but it is sponsored by major banks all over the United States. Okay. So some of the courses that we offer, it's feasibility. We go over marketing, research, advertising your business, elevator pitch, and we have a QuickBook expert that will come in as well to help educate the students.
Do they have to pay?
Actually, guess what? No, they do not pay a dime. The only thing that they need to pay is just to give me their time. And it is only 2 hours. Right now, my class is every Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30 for 8 weeks. And it's worth it. A lot of, and you might know that there's a lot of companies that are charging, but this program is, it is free. And oftentimes when people hear that it's free, they think, oh, there's no value. I'm here to tell you, you will get value.
Okay. So when people participate, what do they leave with? And what kind of success have you had with your clients?
I've actually have had a lot of success. And matter of fact, you're going to hear for one of those success stories in just a second. and it's an outstanding story. But I have clients that come through the class that, you know, are dreamers and they're looking to start a business. And then I have people that come in the class that's been in business 10 years or more with doctor's degrees, just, you know, wide range of students that's coming through the class. And we're able to help anyone that is in the class. So, and they walk away with a certificate of completion. And then they have the knowledge that they did not have from being in the class.
So the knowledge that they walk away with, is it starting a business? Is it maintaining a business? Is it just the financial side of the business that a lot of small businesses don't know? Because, you know, a lot of people, they just wake up one day and, you know, whether even if it's a child, wake up and they decide, I want to run my own business. I want to be a business owner, but they've never been, you know, studied. They never prepared for it. So what is it exactly they learn in your class?
Actually, Gale, I mean, it's a lot. They actually learn so much. They learn how to go through their financials, understanding, having good bank keeping records. Oftentimes, the people that I run into in the class that might be already in business, Gale, they do not have a business account. They do not have access to capital. So what they learn is how to set up their business right. We give them all the tools and the foundation to help them get started. We tell them where they need to go. They need to do research and planning. We walk through a business plan from the beginning of the executive summary all the way to the very end. So they will have a business plan, which is their roadmap to help them to be successful in their business. And especially the accounting records, which is critical for all small business owners or dreamers, because once they get to the financial piece, they're often afraid and scared to manage that piece of it. But it's so important to have.
Well, you know, over the years, and even I just talked to one of my friends yesterday evening about the financial piece. A lot of small businesses, it's better to pay their taxes quarterly than once a year. This friend of mine was telling me how now she's got to pay like literally thousands of dollars to the IRS or state taxes. I'm sorry, state taxes. That's what I mean, state taxes, because she wasn't paying them quarterly. So, I mean, do you work with them on when they need to pay their state taxes, their federal taxes, and all of that kind of information?
Well, yes, we have. I actually bring in an expert. I bring in an accountant. I have an accountant speaker and owner of QuickBooks. They come in and they actually speak to the students about the importance of making sure that the taxes are filed properly. So we definitely go into that in depth as well.
Okay, so Trudy, how can people who are interested in learning more attending your class, your workshop, how do they get involved? How do they do that?
Actually, the only thing that they need to do is they can actually go to Operation Hope website, and you would see my location, the Memphis. My office is actually located inside of the Kojic Church. So you would see the locations listed on the Operation Hope website, or they're welcome to give me a call at 901-314-7255. And all you have to do is tell me your interest, and we will make an appointment with you and have you scheduled for whatever your need may be. It could be credit, understanding how to get your credit score up. And oftentimes business owners don't realize that they are their business. So their credit score is not only about your business, but business credit, but your personal credit is very important as well. So we help them get that credit score up to be in the club that we have at Operation Hope, which is the 700 Club.
So how long does it take to get your credit score up? I know a lot of people would like to know that.
Yes. And I will tell you, Gale, that is a big need here in the Memphis area. And we know that, and that's why this program, and that's why First Horizon Bank has invested in what we do as far as giving back and serving the community and helping them to come financially empowered. But each person's situation is actually different. It really just depends. Once I evaluate their credit file, I actually take each line item and walk them through what needs to be done in order to get their credit score up. We provide education. We do not provide repair. So we're educating the community. Oftentimes people don't know what they don't know. And that's why we're here at Operation Hope. Hope is here to serve them.
Okay, so Trudy, thank you so very much. Providing that so helpful information for our viewers today. I even learned some stuff, so I'm going to make sure I share that information with some business owners that I know. Because a lot of people you're right, they don't even know how to do a business plan, and you all make that available, that learning available to them. So you mentioned that you have a success story here. So would that be Megan?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Megan. So let's move to you. And Megan, tell us about your business, and also tell us about how you have worked with Trudy and her business to pivot.
Well, hello everyone, and it's pronounced Megan. Megan like vegan,
Oh my
even though
God, Megan, you
I'm
gonna
not
embarrass me.
vegan.
Lord have mercy.
No, you know what? I used to not correct people on my pronunciation, but my friends get on to me. My family will say, "Why did you let them mispronounce your name?"
Okay,
So I'm
Megan,
just
I will not mispronounce your name on the show.
but it is quite all right. It's quite all right. But I started my business as a fundraiser, as you mentioned during the intro. I'm trying to get my daughter on a mission trip to Japan, and I never imagined in a million years that it would have grown into a business and that it would have taken off or even survived this long. And that's exactly how I met Miss Trudy, because I've been an entrepreneur and I've done other things, but because this particular business fell in my lap the way that it did, I was so fearful to mess things up.
Mhm.
And I had heard about Operation Hope, and I had met Miss Trudy at some different business workshops, and I just felt like it was perfect for what I was trying to do. Because again, even though I had been in business for a number of years, I had been an entrepreneur in the past, there was still so much that I needed to know. And the program was absolutely phenomenal. Like she said, it was a free program. There were amazing speakers that came in that talked about accounting and the business plan piece, marketing, the business structure. It was just so much vital information and exactly what I needed. And even when I had personal things going on, Miss Trudy was just a cheerleader for every area of my life. So I can't even say enough positive things about Operation Hope and Miss Trudy, and it has helped me to grow my business. And last year I had an opportunity to go on The View, and Miss Trudy was the very first person that I called because I thought, how will I manage the volume going on The View? And Miss Trudy said, you can do it.
So did your volume increase after going on The View?
It did. It is what sustained my business because I was closed for 3 months because I delivered 90% of the time to my customers here locally because I mainly worked at farmers markets and I delivered to residences and businesses. So when the pandemic started, my daughter came home from college and she's high risk. So I could not figure out a way to continue to deliver and not put my daughter at risk or even put myself at risk. And so I was closed for 3 months, and The View reached out to me, and I really thought it was a joke. I'm thinking it's a pandemic and you all are playing on my phone about being on The View, but they were looking they were looking for businesses that had been impacted by COVID. And when they discovered that I had been closed and that my daughter was high risk, they just went into high gear getting behind me. They really wanted to see me reopen. And because I had only served the local public, I was so nervous. But Miss Trudy, she had such big vision that when I called her, she was like, you can do this. Like, we prepared for this. I had just finished the program. I had finished my business plan. I was ready. And so, but I just needed that extra push.
So Trudy, you went above and beyond what the services you offer at at the Operation Hope, right? By being there available to her and giving her that additional encouragement that she needed to go to the next level, right?
Yes, exactly. My first thought was, okay, I want to make sure your books are right. Let me call another expert. And we're going to get somebody to make sure your accounting records are right. We're going to make sure all of her finances in place. And when I call my partners that I work so closely with Everett Burton of QuickBooks, he was like, okay, give me Megan. I got her. And he took me underneath his wings and said, we're going to make this work for her. And we all pulled together and we made it work. I think Everett even brought his kids in to help pack some of the cookies. So it's all about a family affair when you're working with us at Operation Hope. We're here to support you in any way that we can possible.
Yes.
Okay, so Megan, after being closed for 3 months, after going on The View, what did you do? How did you pivot? How did you take it to the next level?
The pivot for me was going from fresh baked cookies to the cookie mixes. I had sold the cookie mixes at the farmers market previous years, but the fresh baked cookies were reigning supreme. But at that time, people were staying at home, and so I wanted to encourage them to bake from home. Plus, it would be easier for me to ship the cookie mixes because there were so many shipping delays with every carrier. And so I wanted to make sure that they would get the product in the most excellent condition. And so the dry cookie mixes were the way to go. And it really took off. I sold tons and tons of cookie mixes, and it is what helped me to stay afloat. So I encourage business owners, you may be doing one thing that may have worked before the pandemic, but try something else, see what would work better in this climate, because we have so many people, even now, even though it's been a year later, they still are very skeptical about, going to certain activities and certain functions. People are working from home. They are teaching their children at home. So if there are products that you can create that would cater to those that are at home, that may be the very thing that will help your business to survive during these uncertain times.
So a lot of it is about being tenacious, about thinking outside the box.
Yes.
And it's always delightful to hear business owners who have found ways to continue to be successful, because we have lost so many small businesses in this country during this last year due to the pandemic. So Megan, correct? Megan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, hearing your success story, I'm hoping will be very enlightening for others who are watching, and that it will be encouraging, and they will just keep trying and keep moving. So now, and thank you so much for sharing that with us, Megan.
You're
So,
welcome.
okay, so now we will go to Lynn Whitney. So Lynn,
Hello.
yeah, so Lynn, share with us, what is it that you do? How do you help small businesses? What is the financial literacy piece that you want to share with us today?
Okay, so first, thank you all again for having me. But I know Megan and Miss Trudy. We've all worked together in the past. I have been in banking for over 10 years. And by me being a branch manager at that particular bank, I saw the need for our community. And so, one of the things that I did see as business owners would come into the bank and they will be crying, they will be so frustrated. They will be the ones that are dropping and making deposits and different things like that. They did not understand the whole process or structure of how a business is supposed to operate. So what I did was I would find myself spending time actually educating them on how to make sure that their business is open more than 2 years. A lot of times you have a business owner where they're so excited about this idea that they have, that they're ready to move forward, but they haven't actually planned it out more than 2 years. So
So
by them
so
not,
can I put a pin right there? So you
yeah.
mentioned 2 years a couple of times. So is that a key survival time for small businesses?
So what research has discovered, and by me being at the bank and just seeing the I guess the volume that comes in to open the account when they start their business, we did research and see that the majority of the businesses are not able to stay open past 2 years because of their financials, or
Wow.
being the fact that they have not understood the back office portion of the business. They know how to sell and make the products, but the back office portion of the business is where it has failed and has been I would say a thorn to a business side, being the fact that they haven't been educated about that. So
So can you define back office?
so back office would be certain things that, like Miss Trudy talked about. Back office would be the financial piece. Some would not have a CPA. They would have like their cousin, doing their bookkeepings or something that's not certified, that doesn't understand. And also they wouldn't know that they would have to actually pay every single year if they're LLC. Or if you have
Pay
some.
every year, pay every year, pay what? What is it?
So with the Secretary of State, you have to make sure that you actually are active with your business with the Secretary of State. So you would find people that are filing their business entity as an LLC, but not knowing that they have to actually file their excise and franchise taxes and pay for that in addition to any other taxes or permits that they may have. So some people wouldn't even know about that. And when they go back to the Secretary of State or they go to do a loan, they show that their business is inactive or it's about to be dissolved or whatever the case is. So a lot of people had no clue about that until there was a need for them to come in like a loan or something like that. So that's what we would have to educate them about, and they wouldn't be aware of. I would spend the majority of my time assisting them and giving them the information to the number in Nashville. I would be assisting them and saying, hey, moving forward, you need to make sure that you have at least 4 bank accounts and separate them. And with those 4 bank accounts, one of them should be a tax account where you do every tax that you get come in or whatever they're paying for, put those taxes in that tax account. When you put those taxes in that tax account, you're not able to be at the last minute trying to pay your taxes and freaking out on how you're able to make that payment when you already have organized your bank account properly to already have it organized to where those taxes go into that tax account and you're able to pay it quarterly like you would need to.
So you're suggesting the quarterly payment, and that is what I was discussing with my friend, as I mentioned earlier yesterday, that she had not been paying hers quarterly, and consequently, she has a really large tax bill. Do you think that many people just don't know that they need to do that quarterly, or they just say, "Well, I'll just pay it at the end," and have no idea of what kind of bill they're going to be hit with?
I definitely agree that they should be paid quarterly. By you paying it quarterly, it not only saves you time at the end, but it also helps you in staying organized. And it makes you, it makes you feel good to pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, when you're doing that, and that's why it's important to have a licensed CPA or someone that can actually take care of your accounting for you. You should not be trying to do everything on your own. And that has been an issue with our business owners. They are the deliverers. They are the shipping department. They are customer service. They are the tax agent. They are everything all in one. When it's okay to get help, it's okay. It's okay to ask for assistance. It's okay to not know everything. It's not your job to know every single thing. And that's why we have other people in place to assist you.
Okay, so since you work with these small businesses and you have seen many of the challenges that they face, what would you say are the top couple of challenges that they have, things that they need to do, things that they need to know?
So a few things that I would say that they need to know is definitely um, taking out the time to take care of self. One of
Mhm.
the things that I teach my clients at Lynn Whitney Consulting, you have to make sure that you have yourself together first before you can even start your business. And even what that means is you don't have to be perfect, but you need to make sure that you're taking the time out to put yourself on your schedule. Because if you're everything to everyone, and if you're doing everything, you can exhaust yourself in your business. And when you exhaust yourself in your business can go down based upon the fact that you're exhausted and you don't have any type of way to gain that energy back. And you're by yourself doing everything. So that's one thing that I would say also, to make sure that you're trying to research and make sure that you are connecting and networking with other professionals that can assist you in your business. So one last thing that I definitely suggest is to definitely get a life coach or a therapist. I always say
Really?
yes. I'm
Wow.
gonna say a life coach or a therapist. I actually incorporated that into my business on how I assist with clients. I say that because whenever, and you got to think about this just with one person, a person that isn't even a business owner. So outside of you being a business owner, you may be a mom, you may
Mhm.
be a wife, you may be the friend that everybody calls when something's happened. So you're wearing all of these hats, but you don't have anyone to vent to release all of that, right? So if you
Mhm.
don't have anyone to actually release that information to, then you're keeping that inside of you. When you keep that inside of you, at any given moment it can explode. And what if at that moment it explodes while you're talking to a customer that just has a small customer service issue, but being the fact that you're holding these things in, you explode and it's been bigger than what it's supposed to be. So that's one reason I always say, I always have at least a mentor and a therapist. Mentor and a therapist will save your life, especially your business.
Well, I talked to someone the other day and they were talking to me about the importance of having a therapist, and that a lot of times we've been to our girlfriends, our friends, and they are really not experts at some of the advice and direction that we need. But a lot of people we vent to. We vent to others, loved ones and friends, and many African Americans, they have a fear, or they just don't believe in going to a therapist, and it's just something that's been a major thing in my race, African Americans, and hopefully that at some point that will change. We'll have more and more people getting the mental help that they need.
Right. And that's why I say to start off with a life coach first. I'm actually a certified life coach and I certify other life coaches. So that's why that was one of the reasons why I made sure that we focus on self first and then we focus on your business. Being the fact that we have had the education, the knowledge, the continued education to help that we help professionals and business owners as far as with taking care of themselves. We've also partnered with other therapists and psychiatrists at any given moment where we have see that you need more than just a life coach, then we can refer you to them. So I think someone asked a question. I'm not sure if do you want me to answer
Yes,
question they did? Okay. So
yes.
one question that I see is that what do you recommend for those who do not have the money to pay the outsource for these services like accounting, et cetera? Are there any programs you recommend? Great question. What I can tell you is that YouTube has been the saving grace. YouTube YouTube can teach you a lot of things for free. Right now, you have been, especially with COVID happening, you have seen a lot of people extend their resources for free. So even if you just go to Google and you just type certain things, you may be able to find some free resources that are available to you that can assist you in that particular department. If not, then I definitely recommend you going to YouTube just to see the basics and the foundation of that, or asking a CPA or someone like Everett Burton that's over at QuickBooks, like Ms. Trudy said earlier, that may just have like some sheets that can help you organize certain things. And that way you can at least have some type of introduction to what you're needing before you get to that CPA, and go from there. And then I think there's one more question. Who would you refer as a life coach? Of course, myself and my team.
And while you're suggesting recommending yourself, how have you and your business been pivoting? How have you worked through 2020?
So I would tell y'all this, and not just to get too personal about everything, but I went through a lot of medical issues in 2020 as soon as COVID happened. So what happened with that, by me going through the medical issues that I faced, not only did COVID impact my business, but my health impacted my business also. So what I had to do was think about what type of gifts have I been given that can allow me to actually maintain the finances that I need at this particular moment that can help my business later on. So I ended up, I'm blessed that my Medea, as we call our our grandparents, she taught me how to sew and do everything. So I was blessed to be able to make masks and different things like that. And by me making masks and sewing, I was able to fund my business and started back like I wanted to last year. So one thing that I can also say is make sure that you have some type of savings account, so where if things do happen, such as COVID or situations, unforeseen circumstances, that you're able to go into that savings to help assist and pay for anything for your business so that you can maintain that business.
Okay, so Megan, Trudy Morrison at Operation Hope helped you a great deal,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to your drive. And so did you consider a life coach and a therapist as you were going through your pivoting?
I have had a life coach in the past, and so I agree with Lynn. It is so vital to have a life coach, therapist. All of that is key for your mental health. I have a very encouraging and supportive family. So that's what helped me through the pivot, through the pandemic, and all those changes that were occurring, just having that particular support system. But I highly recommend a life coach. I highly recommend Lynn. Like she stated, I have known her for a long time. She has always been consistent and excellent in what she's doing. She's a people person, somebody that you feel like you can talk to, and that's what you need in terms of a life coach and in terms of someone that can help you to sort through the mental health that comes into play as a business owner. Because for a lot of us, we are working alone. We are building a team. We are facing fears every single day. Some of us even have fear of success. You have that fear of failure, but you also have, well, what if it does work? And you need that part of your journey to be just as on the up and up as your accounting or your other processes. So it's very, very important.
Okay, so Megan,
Mm-hmm.
where's your daughter? Your 16-year-old daughter that you helped with, that got you started on this mission, this trip.
Yes. So I've been baking all these years later, and she has since then gone on to Emory. She is a
Oh,
sophomore
amazing.
at Emory now. She's doing well. She will be starting her very first paid internship this summer with Facebook. So
Oh,
she is just,
amazing.
yeah, she is just flourishing in the most amazing way. To say that I'm
And she
proud is
and
an
she's had
understatement.
an awesome example of tenaciousness,
Thank
going
you.
after what you want, being strong.
Yes.
So you have been an excellent role model for your
Thank
daughter.
Thank you so
So,
much.
okay, so you both have talked about a life coach, and I know what a life coach is, but for some, they may not. Could you please define what is a life coach and what does a life coach do?
Okay. So a life coach helps you as far as your personal goals, as well as if you're having any type of career goals. So it's different from a therapist. A therapist helps and they pretty much help you with answering how to solve it. So with a life coach, we ask the question to allow you to solve your own situation. So we
Mhm.
allow you, we listen to you and whatever concerns and goals and any type of venting that you would like to do with a life coach, but we don't necessarily give you the direct answer like a therapist may do. We allow you to uncover and take away those layers to discover who you are. So we help you with yourself in regards to that. Now, the therapist and the psychiatrist, they pretty much kind of do like assessments to help with the healing process of it. Life coaches aren't necessarily healers. We're more so those individuals that help guide you to your goals. We create that goal planning structure for you, and we hold you accountable to that. And also, in addition to that, there are so many types of life coaches. You have a business life coach, you have holistic life coaches, you have career executive life coaches. There are a lot of different life coaches that can assist you. So whenever you're thinking about a life coach, think of it more so as goal planning, and then a therapist and a psychiatrist more so as healing and solving a mental problem.
So all of that well-roundedness helps a small business and a person and others to be mentally healthy and hopefully financially successful with their business.
Mhm.
So we only have a couple of minutes left. So Lynn, could you just sum up, give our viewers some advice?
Yes. One thing that I will say is not to be so hard on yourself. Don't feel like you have to be everything to everyone all of the time. One thing that I always have to remind my clients is make sure that you're pouring from the overflow of your cup and not the cup actually. You don't want to don't want to pour and give from that cup, because then if you're constantly giving from that cup, then you can run empty. So don't hold yourself to a huge high standard to where you're not taking care of yourself.
Okay, so Megan, what do you have to end with?
I would say understand that life happens in seasons. Speaking of my daughter, when she was school age, she was my number one priority. There were networking events that I missed. There were opportunities that I could not participate in because my priority during that season of life was being a mother. So, for anyone listening, if you are a parent or if you are taking care of parents right now, or you just have something going on in your life that seems to be taking priority, press into that. Seasons change. We're getting ready to go into the summer season and eventually fall. So once my daughter went off to college, then I was able to press into goodness gracious a little bit more. So don't be hard on yourself if you can't do some of the things that you want to do, because as soon as I got my daughter where she needed to be, and I was able to focus on goodness gracious, then the opportunity like the view came along. If it had come along any sooner, I would have really talked myself out of it, because I never wanted to do anything that would take me away from making sure my daughter was had everything that she needed to have. So always think about life happens in seasons, and when you're in a season where you can't maybe physically do some things, that's your time to get that life coach. That's your time to be doing a lot of planning or supporting other businesses. During those seasons, I supported and I pushed other people because I know how important that is. If you can't financially support somebody's business, share their post on social media, tell somebody about their services, refer them. So we all work together to help each other out in this process. So that's what I would say. Respect the seasons that you're in. For those who are in different seasons, use this time to study those things you may not be able to. I think that was one of the questions someone asked, how do you afford these things? Now, this may be the time to attend YouTube University, where you're spending, your evenings studying and learning different things that you foresee you may need to tap into or have an understanding of when you do get to launch that business in the way that you want it to be launched.
So Megan and Lynn, one thing that I forgot to mention that's really important. How important is it for small business owners to put money up to put it back into their business and not spend every dime that they make as they make it? How important is that for their success?
Okay, I can answer that. It's 1000% important. If you aren't putting money aside to pour back into your business, even on the level of payroll and the operation side, how are you going to actually really seriously function with your business and make sure that it's successful? That's how a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, they're not able to be in business more than 2 years because they don't understand that if I'm putting money back into my company, I'm allowing my company to grow. So it's like I said, it's 1000% important. I've always stated, make sure you have at least 4 accounts. Those business accounts are a savings account, a tax account, an operations account, as well as a payroll account. I say payroll just because by me being in the banking industry, I've seen where people have had fraudulent activity happen on their payroll accounts. I've seen where they have had the checks be duplicated. I've seen those different things. So if you're only putting a certain amount of money in that payroll account only to take care of payroll with just a little bit to help sustain it just in case of miscalculation, that can help you prevent fraud. That can help you prevent different things from happening. So again, it goes back to organizing your money properly and also making sure that you are set up and structured to be in business more than 2 years.
So Megan, did you follow those directions? Did you put money
Um,
aside?
well, with the cookie business, it happened all on a whim. So there were a lot of things that I did not do correctly. So I wholeheartedly agree with Lynn. It takes money to make money. Um, I was fortunate. I started my business with $0, but it was a fundraiser. So of course I had $0. I needed the support. But that goes to show you that it takes money to make money. In order for me to get my daughter, we had 2 months to raise $3,500. I had to purchase supplies. I had people buying supplies for me. I had to use a lot of what I had on hand. So it's going to take money for you to get that business rolling and invest in some of the software that you need to do your marketing for you. It just is very necessary. It doesn't have to be debilitating. If you gotta bake cookies to make that money, or you gotta ask someone to, hey, spread the word about my business, or you gotta make samples so that people know, wow, this is really good, or this person is capable of doing something. Like, you gotta be willing to invest in yourself, because that's what people, one thing I've learned from watching Shark Tank is they seem to be very impressed by the people that have invested a lot of money into that product already, because they know, okay, this person is, they're invested in their own product, so I want to get behind them. I know that they are a hard worker. And that's what that says, that you are in it for the long haul. Like Lynn said, you're looking to do more than 2 years. You want to start a business that will allow you to build wealth 3 generations deep. And so that's going to take planning, and it's going to take proceeds.
So I do have one more thing before we end, because we basically run out of time. Megan, how many different cookies do you make, and what is the number one seller?
I have over 25 different flavors, because all of my customers have different different palates and different things they like and dislike. So I have over 25 different flavors. And I would say my top seller for women would be chocolate chip pecan. For men, it would be oatmeal raisin. But I do have tons of other flavors. If you're like, no, that's not my favorite, I have everything for everyone.
And so people can find you online on Facebook.
Yes, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and Twitter under Goodness Gracious Cookies. And the website is GG Lux Cookies. GG is in Goodness Gracious, LUXE Cookies with an S.com, ggluxcookies.com.
Okay, and I'm wishing you continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan, for
Thank
being on
you.
here and sharing your wonderful story. Thank you, Lynn, so much for providing the wonderful information and the
Thank
needed information that many small businesses hopefully will use to help them continue to pivot and be successful. And I want to thank also Trudy Morrison, who had to leave because she had another commitment. And Trudy is she is a financial well-being program manager with Operation Hope, and she has provided a lot of useful information today. And Megan is one of her successful stories. So also, before we go, I want to thank Sharita Goodman and Terica Lamb and Kim Bond and Erica Horton and Nathan Smith. We can't make these shows successful and make the information available to our audiences without the help of these young people. So I thank you all for your work. And I thank everyone for watching Memphis Like Gas and Water's Power Pivot. We will be looking for you next month. And thank you again. We're out.